A fire and explosions at a chemical disposal company in Plainwell, forcing some people who live nearby to be evacuated. At one point, the smoke was visible from our Skycam in Kalamazoo. That's about 14 miles away.
The fire is now contained at Drug and Laboratory Disposal, but we have important information about evacuations to tell you about. People who live northeast of that building are being urged to go to a temporary shelter set up at Plainwell High School right now. The streets impacted are Acorn, 2nd, Division, Industrial Parkway, Lincoln Parkway, and Wakefield.
We have team coverage digging into what happened today and past violations at this property. We begin tonight with 24-hour News 8's Mark Thompson.
Well, Sue, first I want to report to you where we are. We're about 300 yards away from that facility. You can see the blue building there and some fire trucks still on scene. The fire is out. The fire is contained. No injuries to report. But since 5 o'clock, we just got new information on the cause of this fire at this chemical facility. The Department of Environmental Quality spoke with the owners and said that the fire broke out as workers inside were working with some chemicals trying to neutralize an acid-based compound. And that compound and that whole process created a tremendous amount of heat, which spread to a wooden stairwell in the facility and, of course, caused that fire. And after that, the evacuation orders were put in place because, of course, they were worried about chemicals coming from that facility. They transport and handle and dispose of all types of chemicals and waste from academic, commercial, and medical and household compounds. And people in this area, the residents in this area, say that they heard lots of explosions.
It sounded like, you know, the fireworks that go off on the 4th where there's just a bright white flash. That's what it was like. And I knew that wasn't a dump truck because their tailgates would flap and make a loud because of construction. But I knew it was, you know, something was bad. And then Claire said, yeah, there's smoke over there. And sure enough.
And we're getting word on what those explosions actually were. Again, according to the Department of Environmental Quality, who spoke with the owner, those explosions came from fire extinguishers that were inside of the facility, not actually from chemicals themselves, we're being told right now. Firefighters still on scene here. They just had a ladder truck up getting a survey from above to try and see what they're actually dealing with. A little bit of smoke still coming out of the facility, and they are trying to make sure that all of the hot spots are put out and no chemicals are emanating from this hazardous materials facility that you see here behind me. We'll have, of course, more coming up tonight at 10 and 11 o'clock. Reporting live in Plainwell tonight, Mark Thompson, 24-hour News 8.
Mark, thanks. There have been past safety violations at this site in Plainwell, and Target 8 investigator Marley Ginter is uncovering those issues for us tonight. Marley, what are you finding?
Well, Sue, we are learning much more about exactly what those past violations are. At this point, we just rolled up to the Plainwell High School. We do know at this point no one has arrived here. None of the evacuees have arrived here. But let me tell you a little bit about the past of this plant that we are learning right now, because I'm sure many of those people evacuated will definitely want to know. If we can show you right now on your screen, we do know that this plant has had 26 violations since 1986. The most recent violations happened in April. We're talking about 3 violations that the Department of Environmental Quality has called minor violations. We do also know, according to the DEQ, that most of the violations, the 26 that we're talking about since 1986, occurred under the previous owner. Now, I'm just now learning a little bit more about what those recent violations, the one that happened in April, were pertaining to. We're learning that initially the company did not submit detailed contingency plans for how to handle an emergency. Now, at this point, from what I understand, the DEQ is saying that they do have those contingency plans in place right now. The paperwork has been submitted, but that is initially why they were cited for a violation. Also, they did not, in a timely manner, notify the DEQ of an increased concentration of a chemical called chloroform that is at that facility right now. Now, of course, we're working to learn much more about this plant. Just minutes ago, I also spoke with a person who knows the previous owner, knew the previous owner, and currently knows the owner right now. We will have much more for you tonight on WXSP at 10, and of course right here on Wood TV at 11. Live in Plainwell, Marley Ginter, 24-hour News 8.
We are continuing to stay on top of this situation in Plainwell. If there are any new developments from the scene, we will take you back there live, and we'll bring you team coverage on the situation tonight on 24-hour News 8 at 10 and 11.